can you tell us, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Yes, I can, Bob, thank you.
Bob, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, you're David loud and clear.
I think I am muted.
You know.
Rolling it.
Ready?
7:01.
Okay, everyone. Hi, everyone out there. Thanks for joining us. Today is Friday, February 19th. Our meeting will start at approximately 7:01. The first item on our agenda is members' time. You'll have to let us know if you would like to ask a question or make a comment. Time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. And you'll need to unmute yourself. Anybody? Last call. Does anybody have a comment for the members' time? If not, we'll move forward and call the meeting to order at, what is it, guys, 7:03.
703.
Roll call, John.
Roll call, Bob Kohler.
Here.
Patricia McGrail.
Here.
Chris Taylor.
Here.
Bill Leisure.
Here.
Dan Martin.
Here.
John Eddie. Here. John Dickinson here.
Quorum established. Is there a motion to set the agenda?
I'll make the motion to set the agenda for tonight.
Motion by John Eddie,
I'll second that.
second by Chris Taylor. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the January 7th, 2021 board meeting?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Chris Taylor, is there a second?
Second.
Second by John Eddie. I had one, maybe, I'm not sure if it's a revision on the second page. I'm sorry, these are the January 7th meeting. The section after the election of officers for 2021. It indicated that Patricia McGrail asked for a motion to close. That should come out. Bill made a motion to elect the officers. I wouldn't have been president at that point.
It was Bill.
And it's marked in there, John, under resolve.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I,
Yeah.
It's there.
Who asked for the motion?
it was Bill, and you have it there, John, in the resolution,
Okay.
resolve, Bill
Resolve.
Legion.
I'll correct that.
Okay. Any other comments or corrections on the minutes of January 7th? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 15th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dan Martin,
I have the second.
second by Bill Leisha. Any questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. Next item is the treasurer's report. Bob?
Thank you, Pat. As I typically do, I'll combine the treasurer's report with the report of the finance committee and the audit committee as well. I'll be using the treasurer's performance dashboard to just kind of give you a high-level overview of where we stand financially. So the treasurer's dashboard reflects the first 6 months of our fiscal year, so July 1 through December 31st, 2020, and I'm pleased to report that we've had a good 6 months financially. For the first 6 months of the year, after making our scheduled transfers to our reserves or our replacement fund, we're showing a surplus of $171,000. Budget for this time of year was that we would have a $51,000 surplus, so we're $120,000 ahead of budget. There's a couple reasons for that. As many of you know, we've had significant real estate sales this year, and every time a property turns over and it's a sale to a new owner, we collect a $500 entrance fee. Well, year to date, we've collected almost $40,000 in entrance fees, coupled with another $13,600 in resale certificate fees. So over $50,000 in additional revenue that, you know, is much more than budget for the resale certificate or for the entrance fees for the entire year is $25,000. So we're way over the annual budget already. Additionally, we've had some savings in the labor category because we had a vacancy in one of the positions and the benefits and payroll taxes that go along with that. We've also saved a little bit of money because the Highland Pool was closed this summer, and then a little bit of savings in our grounds and professional fees. So overall, a good 6 months so far. Obviously, the thing that we worry about is snow removal, so we have to wait and see what happens. For those of us that ski, it's been a great winter, but obviously the foundation, it costs us some money to do that. The latest figures that I have updated through today, we're at about 50% of the snow removal budget. So we're doing well on that, and kudos to Brian and his team in conjunction with our vendor, working to keep the roads clear and sidewalks shoveled, et cetera. So in terms of our financial position, you know, we're financially strong, as I always like to report. We don't have any debt. I have added to our dashboard here in the last couple of months a statistic I call the days operating cash on hand. And what that means is, well, how much cash is in the bank, and if we didn't collect anything more, and we didn't change our budget, how many days could we stay in business, right? Well, at December 31st, remember, we always collect our assessments quarterly, right? So we got a big influx of cash in right around December 31st. We had almost $100,000 in assessments that were paid early, so our days operating cash went to 166 days. So that means we could stay in business for 5 months, keep the lights on, et cetera. So not bad. Okay, we're in good shape financially. Our receivables were down to $79,000. We continue to monitor this very closely, and in the over 90-day category, we have one significant account that we're working through the legal system to try to resolve that. Our replacement fund, or our reserves as we affectionately refer to them, about $2.4 million at the end of December. We have about $320,000 in unrealized appreciation. Our investment managers have done a very good job over the past 4 years managing our money very conservatively. And we have exceeded inflation and done a very conservative job in protecting the homeowner's interest there, and also been able to grow our funds. So it has worked out to be a good strategy. Our capital budget, we have spent about 54% of the total budget year to date, and that's primarily on our road resurfacing work. We have a retaining wall project that got completed. We finally finished the Imperial Road drainage project. I'm sure the folks at Imperial Road are very happy with, and it took a long time to get to that, but it was certainly a very important project, and we're glad that we were able to finish it. We have a couple of contracts coming due this year, so our trash removal is due here July 31st. We'll be working on that in earnest here very soon. Our management company contract comes due June 30th, and we're currently looking at the strategies, what we're going to do there. On the second page of the dashboard, we have some of the non-financial information that I like to target. So the maintenance department, we always look at work orders completed and open, and I'm not panicked because we're under target in the month of December, but we know why. Obviously, snow removal takes precedence over work orders, so the guys will certainly be catching up on that as we go forward. And then lastly, I'll point out on the other non-financial performance measures at the bottom there, just the real estate activity. This is something that I started to track a couple of years ago, and it's just really amazing. I get this information from Mike Mikulich at the Prudential Realty. From July 1 through January 31st, we sold 105 units here, compared to the same period last year, 52, And as of the time Mike gave me this report, which was early this week, there were 6, and that's 6, a single digit, properties listed for sale, compared to 68. So that's less than 1% of the mountain for sale. Again, this is the multi-list. Now, there could be properties that are privately listed, okay, but through the public multi-list information. In the years I've been tracking this, I've never seen anything like this. So really an interesting statistic. From the Finance Committee perspective, this is budget season for us, so we will be meeting here in the next month or two, working diligently on the budget, both the operating and the capital budget. So committee chairs that are on the call tonight, I'll be reaching out to you in the next few days with a request for funding. So if you have specific projects that you have in mind that you would like to see included in the budget this coming year, I'll be reaching out to you with a form to complete for that. The audit committee does not meet at this time of year because our audit season starts in the summer, so they'll get active again here late in the spring. And Pat, that concludes my report.
Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasury report as reported.
For a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by John Eddie, second by Chris Taylor. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Come back, Bob. You know what, I should have done this at the beginning of the meeting, but I didn't because the motion is at the end. Everybody who is out there who's watching this on Zoom, I do want to introduce our new executive director, and she is Megan Newhouse. She agreed to join us this evening. Megan has, we think, a wealth of management experience. It was a tough night for her to brave the weather to join us, but we're really happy that she did. She will be in the office bright and early on Monday morning. Everybody give her a couple of hours to catch her breath. But she's looking forward to meeting everyone, and I hope you will give her a warm welcome. We'll.
Here.
Welcome, Megan.
Yeah,
Welcome.
absolutely. We're excited. Look, Chris is up there clapping too. Okay. I'm sorry, I should have done that at the beginning. So Brian, you're up next.
So I'll keep it brief because we have been doing not much of anything besides snow removal. Last I heard, as of yesterday, the 18th, 17 out of 18 days of this month has been snow. Make that 18 out of 19 as of today. Month before, it's got to be pretty close to that as well, I would imagine. Outside of normal snow removal, every chance we've got, we have been in our skid steer, moving piles of snow, trying to add more parking as much as time permits. Just trying to help everyone out in that regard. And for the most part, other than that, with the extent that we have been using our equipment, it does come with breakdowns and failures. So we have experienced some of those. Fortunately, we do have a good skill set with the maintenance team and been able to conduct the majority of those repairs in-house. So a good bit of cost savings and time savings in that regard as well. That's pretty much all we've been up to.
Question.
Okay.
Any problem, Charles, we need to be concerned about, equipment-wise?
So, as of late, in the last couple of weeks here, our newest vehicle, the 2017 Ram dump truck, has been giving us some problems.
Okay.
Nothing alarming besides the last one, which was the turbocharger. You know, some of it's normal wear and tear for the type of use that it gets, but it is something that definitely needs to be kept an eye on going into the future here.
Okay. Second question. Ice storm bad this week. Lots of trees down. Do you guys have plans what to do with the branches that are down?
Yes, come next week with the warm-up, our intent is to get the rack off our dump truck.
Okay.
And start cleaning things up. You know, given the time restraints and the weather, what we did, I mean, we just got them off the road, got them passable, you know, got them off the parking areas and so on. But, you know, the weather does look good coming up next week, so that's gonna be our intent.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Okay. Any other questions for Brian? If not, thanks, Brian. Okay, let's move to our committee report. Bob, you've already given us, the finance and audit
Yes.
report.
You already talked too much.
there is a page in the folder, from the committee chairs for the Architectural Control Committee. I would suggest that everyone pay attention to that. There are some new forms. And, if you have any questions with regard to those forms, I believe Vicki would be able to help you with that, or of course, Donna Corson and Bill Leisure. We have no report from the Maintenance Committee unless someone on the board has a report. Likewise, with regard to the Rules and Regulations Committee, I had asked Chris Taylor to be the board liaison to that committee, and I believe we have identified a policy that they're going to be working on, and so we'll be sharing that.
Great, thank you.
We did have a page from the Social and Rec Committee. I'm sure everybody enjoyed seeing the snowmen that had been created. I can't believe how creative everyone is. They were some really great entries. And as usual, Robin and Aaron have done a great job. No report from the Branding and Media Committee. I'm not sure if Jay is on tonight. Is that him?
Hey, Pat, Jay is not here tonight, but Chris and I are, so.
You want to give us an update, Rick?
Yeah, quickly. As the board knows, we are in the process of wanting to update the strategic plan based on what has happened from three driving events. One was the COVID from last year, 2, all the new homeowners, as Bob had said, and 3, an increased rental activity. So we have a draft survey ready that Pat has for review. 14 questions that just want to update some of the demographics as we just discussed. So we would then update the strategic plan. We would like to remove all the action items that have been completed from the dashboard. Then we would like to go through a reprioritization effort to make sure that the strategic objectives, remember there's 27 plus a bunch of tactics, are they the right priorities? And then that would be input also to Bob's budget request for next year to make sure, at least from the strategic plan, we are prioritizing the spending like we did last year for the joint meeting. So Pat, we're anxious to get together with the board to go over the past plan with the new board members and to proceed with that new survey. We'd like to get the survey done so you could have it approved, the actions approved by March. So we're marching on a quick timeline. And I'm sure you know that and appreciate that. Chris, anything else?
No, thanks, Rick. I think that's the key is what we're looking to ascertain is what changes have occurred in the community from a needs perspective and a priorities perspective with all of the other demographic changes that we've seen. So that's the objective.
Okay, what we will do is get together with regard to dates for that discussion with the board. But I talked to Jay today and did ask him if we could start a new process with regard to the monthly reports from the special committees that were formed as part of the strategic long-range plan. For example, you know, the dining option committee, the landscape committee. We're struggling a little to get these reports in time for the board to review and act on them. I asked Jay to be the gatekeeper, or obviously Rick or Chris, if you could help out there. So we're going to ask all of the chairmen of the special committees to turn their reports in to the 3 of you. You can compile them and then get them to us, hopefully 1 week before the board meeting. We've received a number of written reports this month, but we didn't get them until, you know, midweek. And you know, we don't want the committees to have to wait. I just want to try and streamline this process. Okay?
Sounds good. We'll follow up, Pat.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our next report, landscape committee, I think we do have that. There are items for the board to discuss in that, and so we will, if we have questions, we'll reach out to the chairman of that committee. Otherwise, we'll consider them for, next month's agenda. I believe John Yocum is on tonight, and, he is prepared to make a report with regard to the Wi-Fi committee. Is that correct, John?
That is correct. I'm here.
Okay, great. You've got the floor.
All right, thanks. I'm going to go ahead and share. I don't know how you can see it in that room, but hopefully you can. I oftentimes cannot communicate without slides, so I apologize for running through a few things here, but I just wanted to review it with everyone. So John Yocum, been a resident or a part-time resident here for 7 years. I've been in the technology industry for 26. And Chris asked me last year to help with this initiative. I'll start with the Wi-Fi committee as a misnomer, right? Wi-Fi is a means of communication to the internet. This is really about connectivity to the internet. And so with that, I want to go back in time and think about the questionnaire that was asked. Hey, of the members, 60% or more, or nearly 60% indicated there would be value in having extended internet connectivity capabilities here to the residential units at Hidden Valley. Now, I'm not exactly sure the date and the timeline that this was taken. I think it's about 6 years ago. Things have changed along the way, but just wanted to kind of put that as the backdrop for the conversation. If anybody's in the background, if you could mute, that would be great. Thank you. So I wanted to throw a couple key terms out here because I realize that maybe connectivity technology is not everyone's daily life. And so I wanted to break out 3 terms: fixed broadband, which is basically connecting to the internet through a wire, right? Wireless broadband is connecting through cellular towers or satellite. And then Wi-Fi, and this is the comment that I made at the opening, Wi-Fi is just a protocol to allow you to connect to some local area network, which is then connected to one of these 2 things, right? And so what we're really talking about here is internet connectivity, improved internet connectivity to the residents or in different places. In some situations, that would be Wi-Fi. In other places, it would be wired connectivity that's there. And so some examples of the providers, and there's probably a few DSL providers that ride on top of Verizon here as well. Extreme is one of them. But I think everyone knows Armstrong from a cable perspective, and then there's some folks that are using satellite here, as well as our cellular providers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. These are all ways that people can get internet connectivity here, right? So there's not just one, and people get choices of how fast they want to go, or how much broadband, or how much bandwidth they want, and how they're going to connect to it. So with that being said, the real question here is, should Hidden Valley provide internet services to the homeowners, right? That's what was coming out of the survey, like, hey, how can we improve this? And, in my opinion, and I'll get to the recommendations in a moment, this changes the position of Hidden Valley from a foundation to an internet service provider in some ways, right? So there's a couple different options here. So considerations in this. So if we did this, we could expand the coverage areas. We would be self-directed into where we could have connectivity, walking paths around the pools and in the playground areas, all those types of things. It's an amenity that we could kind of use as a marketing, right? A well-connected community. And there's obviously the potential that we could increase the bandwidth. You get what you pay for, and when you're the controller of all of the nodes, that we could actually request more bandwidth for the area. Now, on the flip side, there is a very expensive start, and I don't have exact figures to do this at this point in time, but we would have to lay infrastructure in place to be able to reach all the 1,100 properties that we have here. We would have a dependency on the upstream provider, much like we have today. And for the individuals, you depend on your internet service provider. We would depend on who was providing that service to us. There would be ongoing management, maintenance, and support. There would be a question of equitable cost versus usage, and then the responsibility that the foundation would have from a security perspective in protecting anyone that is participating on the network, liability and regulatory things. And so when you think about this as, hey, should Hidden Valley, go back to the question, should Hidden Valley be an internet service provider to the homeowners to improve the internet connectivity here, right? The recommendations that I would make are that we should take steps in this direction, but not go all the way there. And when I say take steps in this direction, there are some things in common areas that we can do to provide this as an amenity for people. And we can work with the providers that provide services today and improve upon what they have in place. I spent some time talking with Armstrong, and I know a lot of people that were here over the holidays had difficulties with Armstrong. For I think told most that it was congestion. They actually had some faults in their lines as well. So it was peak usage plus some issues in their lines, which they've addressed, and they are planning to make infrastructure improvements over the coming period. They couldn't give me a timeline for that. That would raise the capacity or the capabilities that we would have here. The other thing that I would recommend is that we look at emerging technologies that are coming. 5G is something that's offers more broadband and capabilities. I know that there are homeowners up here that use hotspots or tether off of their phone. And then there are new advancements in satellite that are actually almost here. Later this summer, there's a new satellite offering that will be available, and it looks fairly promising. I think, as it was mentioned earlier, the survey that's going out for the long-range planning, and Chris was crafting some questions to go into that, is to take a look and find out what the satisfaction is today across the homeowners, to understand if there's more pressure that we need to put here. Like as I mentioned, the original question I think was 5 or 6 years old, and technology and people's ability to connect to the internet has changed. Most everyone carries mobile phones with unlimited data plans these days. And so that is one way for connectivity to happen as well. And so with that, I will go ahead and stop and see if there's any questions. Go from there.
Questions? I do. Go ahead, we've got a question here.
John Eddy.
Yeah.
We have been under the auspices of the resort owners for providing cable up here. We now are separate from Hidden Valley Resort. There's an answer of what rights does the foundation have in controlling the internet provider? Is that something that we would want to look at pursuing?
I don't fully understand the question, because the internet provider controls the copper that, in the case of Armstrong, controls the copper that's in the ground here, not the resort. And furthermore, when you think about the wireless carriers, the resort has absolutely no, they're not even tertiary, right? That is cellular or satellite that comes. And so that's why, from a definition perspective, I wanted to throw those key terms in there. And so we're specifically talking about telephone lines, cable lines. I am unaware that the resort has ownership of those. Maybe someone else here knows.
Oh, you're correct. They do not have ownership, but somebody has given the authority for Armstrong to be on this mountain. Before that, it was Third Wave Development out of Greensburg, and before that, I can't remember. I'm too old.
Yeah, I believe it's the Public Utility.
Somebody is given the authority to do that. Now that Hidden Valley Foundation is separate from the resort, is that something that we should look at, or from what you have found, we should stay away from it altogether?
I think what you're asking is, should we look to try and bring another provider on the mountain?
Possibly.
Okay. And another provider of fixed broadband, someone that's going to put wires in the ground, right? Is what I'm hearing. So, okay. We absolutely, the Public Utilities Commission controls that, and the provider would look at it and say, is there a business here to be here, right? And so we would need to solicit, and given the number of properties that we have, it would have to be, in my mind, it would have to be cost beneficial that they would see a return on their investment over a period of time. We could absolutely go and solicit and have those conversations, but that control is going to be for them deciding from a business perspective that it's the right decision to lay infrastructure in the ground to be able to connect in a fixed broadband way. Doesn't stop a mobile broadband connection. As I mentioned, satellite is, there's a new Starlink that's coming, which is the Elon Musk satellite connections, and there's some promise there. And 5G from a mobile perspective is another. And so we do have options, but if we're specifically talking about getting someone to lay infrastructure, we would need to make it attractive, or they would need to see the area as attractive.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for your work on this, John. And I'm sure that Chris and Rick and Jay will follow up with their questions in the new survey.
Sure.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Very informative, thank you.
Thanks, John.
No problem.
Okay, last but not least, Chris Humble, I know we have a written report. Do you have anything to add from communications?
No, thank you, Pat. That's all we have for tonight is the written report.
Okay, real good, thanks. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the committee reports?
I'll make a motion to accept the committee reports as reported.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by John Eddie, second by Bob Kohler. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, next item, a report, I've got two reports on the Hidden Valley Utility Services LP. Why don't we start with you, Dan? Bob, did we lose everybody? No, I guess we didn't.
We just lost it with the TVs turned itself off.
Got overburdened, everybody's not on there.
Okay. So Dan, if you could give everybody an update on the status of the construction of the treatment plant.
Okay, this is based around the site visits that took place on February 12th. I drove by there today, did not walk through the building, but some of the things that I thought would have been accomplished had not yet been accomplished. But I would say building substantial completion is probably going to be slated around March or April. That's building substantial completion. Now, from that point, we've got 2 to 3 weeks yet to get power hooked up. We've got 2 to 3 weeks from the 12th, 2 to 3 weeks to get power hooked up, 2 to 3 weeks to get the filter media brought in, then we have to do startup, then we have to do testing, then we have to get operating permits. You're probably, before you get the water out of your faucet, June or July.
Ooh.
Okay, there's a whole series of things, a lot of which Mr. Kittler does not really control, like the power connections, like the DEP, the EPA, those kind of people that have to get involved in it. And with COVID-19, I'm not sure exactly if they're working 80 hours a week or 8 hours a week, okay? So there's some processes that have to happen. But I do believe it'll be June or July before you can bust a bottle of champagne on it and say that it's done. The next meeting with Mr. Kittler is on Friday the 26th, a week from today. So there was quite a few things that were committed to in the last couple meetings. One of them was the garage door was going to be up, and it's not up today. So I'm not sure how many of those other commitments have been made. So when we get out there on the 26th and take a look, we'll be able to find more. But I would say substantial completion, March, April, finished project, ready for water coming out of your faucet is probably June, July.
Okay. It seems like a long way away, but it's a lot closer now than it was. Okay, Bob, you've got a report.
Yeah, there's also on the legal side, and it's related to the construction of the water treatment plant. As you may recall, Hidden Valley Utility Services is required to file a 60-day status report with the judge assigned to this case. In January, Hidden Valley Utility Services filed their status report, and they indicated that they had made substantial inroads in the construction of the water treatment plant. So just this week, I think I got this on Tuesday, Judge Dunderdale, who is assigned to this, issued her 6th post-hearing order, and of interest, she is now requiring Hidden Valley Utility Services to provide a detailed status report to indicate pertinent facts concerning the status of the new water treatment plant, including but not limited to date construction was completed, which we just heard yesterday, not yet. Date and status of the application for final review and inspection, details as to what compliance actions are yet incomplete, and verification from an engineer concerning when the commission is to expect those incomplete actions to be completed. This report is due to the presiding officer, Judge Dunderdale, on or before noon on Monday, March 1st. So he has approximately a week to get this done. After that, a hearing will be scheduled with all the parties on or after March 15th of 2021. So just so everyone knows, this is the first real ruling we've had on this. The other ones were kind of closing the hearing record, et cetera. The initial hearing took place in May of 2020.
Bob, if you go through those 4 items or 5 items, he's asking for, one, obviously the construction is not completed.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, what was the second one?
So, date construction was completed. Date and status of Hidden Valley's application for final review and inspection by all appropriate agencies.
I don't think that can be done at this point.
Until you're done, right?
Yes.
Details of what compliance actions are yet incomplete.
They can't do the compliance action until they do the inspection, which is not on the board yet.
And then a verification from the engineer concerning when the commission should expect those incomplete actions to be completed.
That's wide open.
Yeah, so I think he jumped the gun. I believe his status report made it sound like he was really far along with his
You
construction.
mentioned on your email that he said it's gonna be done in February.
Yeah. And I think the judge, in reviewing this, and she has been sitting on this, because we've been waiting for a ruling, and then all of a sudden this came out Tuesday.
The sign that says.
It is signed, yep, came out, yep.
Bob, since we already have a liaison between the board and this, are we able to give our side of things?
We are not a party to this,
No, you're not a party to that. You just
Okay.
stand
But-
and watch.
I am a party.
I know you are.
Any information that is relevant, especially Dan's inspections, I can certainly get into the record.
Okay, so that would become imperative then to counteract what he is saying to, okay.
I sent some progress photos out. I took them on the 12th, but I sent them on, I can't remember, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, which are date stamped. And obviously if the garage door is not up and the pipes aren't connected and the pumps aren't wired, it's gonna be a
Right.
pretty hard act to follow.
Right.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Security incident report, you have a page on that. Chris Lindbergh did, attend the Jefferson Township meeting. The one item that is relevant to Hidden Valley was 25 miles per hour on Gardner Road. At least one car is split into the ditch on the curb, traveling too fast, so
It
just.
was not me.
This
Bob
time,
Colder, it was not me.
this time.
No, this time, I know that. But I also have to tell you, in conjunction with Jefferson Township, now that we have a state trooper on property, part of what he has to do is speed control, not only on Gardner Road, but on 31. And I am suggesting very strongly to the homeowners that are listening, he has been known to be down at the Buncher entrance. So just beware, he has a certain quota that you didn't hear me say that he has to get. I'm in his crosshairs even though I don't speak. So, everybody should just be aware that there is gonna be, there's gonna be more looking at coming down the hill from state police.
You was parked on Route 31 going into Somerset the other day where you get that downhill.
You wave him? Wave to him.
I did.
Dan, he's gonna come after you.
Tried to stay on good terms with a young man.
Okay, the salt dome is on hold. I'm just gonna put that out there. Project update on the SRC building, I'm gonna be brief on that. We are making progress. We're just at the point where we're making final decisions. And within the next couple of weeks, we hope to get final pricing. And we hope by the March meeting, we'll have a whole lot to report with regard to the building. Okay, new business. Everybody has a copy of the proposed board election calendar. It looks very similar to what we've done in the past. It is in your packet. Do I have a motion to approve that calendar?
I'll make the motion to approve the calendar.
Motion by Chris Taylor, second?
I'll second that.
Second by Bob Kohler. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. I need a motion to approve the amendment to the capital budget for purposes of adding the Ridgeview Drainage Project to the 2021 project.
I will make that motion. So, and just to explain it briefly too, since that is a non-budgeted capital item, we want to make sure that we now are including it in our capital budget. So we will be adding to the capital budget a line item for Ridgeview Drive storm and sewer improvements in the amount of $87,190.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Bob, second by John Eddie. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. I need a motion to approve the contractor for the Ridgeview Drainage Project. Need a motion to approve that contractor?
Lee Sock,
Is it Lee Sox?
Little bidder is Lisa,
It's L-E-S-S-C-K.
L-E-A-S-O-C-K.
I'll make a motion to accept Lee Sock Construction as a project contractor for Ridgeview Drainage.
I'll second.
Motion by John Eddie to approve Leasock Construction as the project contractor, second by Bill Leisha. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Motion to approve the hiring of Megan Newhouse as Executive Director of the Hidden Valley Foundation.
Oh, we need to have discussion.
Let's have a motion.
Oh, well, we got to have discussion
I
here.
will happily make the motion.
and I will gladly second it.
Oh, we have a love
Some of
fest
us
already.
don't.
Oh, okay.
Motion by Chris Taylor, second by Bob Kohler. Any questions? I'm afraid to ask or comments. Just bite you. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Welcome,
Welcome
Megan.
aboard again.
Welcome, Megan. So, yeah. Pat, if I could just add, we did go through, the board went through a very extensive search process.
Yes.
We did put the final candidates through their paces, as I'm sure Megan would attest to, and I think we're very pleased with Megan, as our new ED. Her background, she's gonna bring a great skill set to the community, so welcome aboard.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, I need a motion to, approve the modifications to the ACC application and dumpster utilization permit.
Can Bill give a description, or you want to go straight to the?
Well, let's have a motion in a second, and then,
I'll make a motion to accept and review the approved modifications to the ACC application.
motion by John Eddie, second?
I'll second that.
Second by Chris Taylor. Thanks, Chris. Bill, you wanna say a few words on that?
Yes, to the homeowners and to the board, I'm putting another paragraph on the ACC application. If you understand, we have a problem with dumpsters all over the place, contractors, homeowners putting the wrong items in the garbage bins all over the place. So we decided, I think, back in, over Christmas holidays, we discussed about getting a 30-yard dumpster, which would be available for the homeowners, also the contractors to use. And Brian and I talked about it, would that be down at the Highland Center? And it's gonna be by each person getting ACC permit, and they'll see a dumpster's be available, then we'll charge them for the use of our dumpster, which is a need for that. And also we'll give them a permit application for the dumping permit. They have to show it to the security guard to let them dump. And we will have a camera down at the dumpster too. And also, I believe, cameras throughout the community to look at dumpsters. And if homeowners are in violation, contractors are in violation, they will be fined. And I think that is a need for the community.
Okay, Bob, sounds good. It's certainly it tries to address a problem we've had.
Yes, it is.
How do contractors get notified, or is the owner will be the one being fined?
The homeowner.
Okay, I just make that, that point of responsibility.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Our next meeting date is Friday, March 19th at 7 p.m. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Okay, then. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion by Bob. Do I have a second?
I got a second.
Second by Bill Leisure. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Time of adjournment is
Ooh,
7:40.
8:45,
Wait,
7:45,
7:45.
9:45, 10:45. I don't think that clock works, 7:45.
Okay. All right, thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Pretty soon, we'll be doing these in person.
Never, not anymore. Always in Zoom, then nobody can get up and get crazy.